You can fight me on it all you want, but it's coming. Hello, my lovely beans. Welcome back. It's September, which means that it's fall. Embrace it. Connect with it, make stuff for it. So usually I'm not one of these people that gets super excited for fall the moment that it turns September. I'm usually on team let's make summer last as long as it can. But I was thinking about it this year, and there are a few things that I love more in this world than I love pumpkins. So why wouldn't I want to make pumpkins last for as long as they can? Plus, in my mind, if I make fall last longer, then maybe that'll make it feel like winter is farther away. Like it is never coming, ever. God, I hate winter. So if you want to rage against me in the comments, fighting with me, Kristen, it's not fall yet. Stop it, how dare you? You clicked on this video, you saw the title, you knew what you were signing up for, and I don't feel bad. So in the spirit of my newfound love for fall, I decided to put together for you guys 3 new Geek-It-Yourself projects. Geek-It-Yourself projects are like do-it-yourself projects, except geekier. To be fair, only one of these is really inherently geeky. But, you know, it's fine, it's fine. So without further ado, let's geek it. What you'll need for this first project is a plastic, hollow, or styrofoam pumpkin, an X-Acto knife, a beautiful bouquet of some fake fall flowers, a pair of scissors, and not pictured, a pair of pliers, because I forgot to include it in this first segment because I'm really professional. So first things first, I'm the realist. Second thing, you're going to take your pumpkin and your X-Acto knife, and you're going to begin to trace a big ol' outline on the top of the pumpkin. This is obviously representing your opening for the pumpkin, where the flowers are going to go into, so be sure to make it the right size for how many flowers you want to put in there. I made mine considerably wide. If you bought a hollow plastic pumpkin, you can now easily take the top right out. If you bought a styrofoam pumpkin and you didn't realize it until you were filming and you started to freak out, don't freak out, don't worry, it's still going to work. What I ended up doing once I realized that I had bought a styrofoam pumpkin is I ended up just pretty much digging into the pumpkin with my X-Acto knife and hollowing out just a little bit, just so that you couldn't see the styrofoam over the top. It took a little bit extra time, but it still worked completely fine, and this is what it sort of ended up looking like in the end. Now it's time to grab our bouquet of flowers and a pair of pliers. Now with these pliers, we're going to start cutting these flowers a bit shorter because obviously you can't just stick them in those pumpkins, and typically this is how those fake flowers are sold. If you can find a shorter pair that is like already made to size for the pumpkin, that's great. But I think for most people, you're gonna end up having to cut them out. This was great because I was able to get rid of some extra leaves that I really just didn't need. And when you do this, you also can then arrange the bouquet in whatever way you want. So you just want to go through and get as many flowers out as you can until you have a big ol' pile of them. Now it's time to arrange our bouquet. And this is when having a styrofoam pumpkin I think actually ended up working in my favor, so go me. You pretty much just take the flowers and stick them in the styrofoam. And if you bought a plastic pumpkin, you can pretty much just start sticking them in there and arranging them as you'd like. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And just like that, you have yourself a beautiful pumpkin bouquet. Geek-IY, I want to be really transparent with you guys. I got this idea from a wreath that I saw on an article all about Halloween wreaths, and I went through to the Etsy seller to buy the wreath, and it turns out that he or she did not make it anymore. I think you can do custom orders. And pause. You might be noticing in this moment that that wreath is actually available now on her shop. It was not available before, I swear to you, but it is available now, so if you want to go and patronize the shop, highly recommend. Again, this idea is completely from this person. I did not come up with it. And it looks like you can get cool things now with it, like that boo sign, so go and do it. And that's what actually inspired me to try and make this wreath, but that is where I got the idea from. Complete credit to them. I just decided to try and bring it to life myself, so this is my go at it. For this project, what you'll need is some black felt, a wooden wreath that looks something like this, has that branch sort of look to it, a hot glue gun, and a printed out bat sort of outline that you can cut out and make as a stencil. And that's the first thing that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a pair of scissors and immediately just cut this bat right out, which I did a great job of filming because again, I'm a professional. Now that we have our bat stencil, we're going to begin putting it to work and tracing it onto our black felt using a silver Sharpie or a white colored pencil. I would definitely recommend the Sharpie. The white colored pencil was very difficult. I ended up cutting out and tracing 8 bats. It really depends on the size of your wreath, but I ended up making 2 more of these, and 8 seemed like the golden number. Now that we have a small brigade of bats, it's time to plug in your hot glue gun, grab your wreath, and start to arrange where you want the bats on the wreath. I definitely recommend playing with the placement of these bats before you actually glue them down, because the kind of effect you want to go for is that some of them are up high, kind of flying right off the wreath, some of them are closer, so really play with your placement of these, and then once you're ready, all you really have to do is put a line of hot glue on the back of the bats and start adhesing them on. This last project, what you'll need is a hot glue gun. One of those plastic spheres that you see in Michael's or Joann's. They usually break apart in 2 and then pop right back together, or if you can find one that's just entirely a sphere, that'll work as well. Some foam paintbrushes, red enamel paint, and finally green puff paint. First, we're going to grab our red enamel paint and foam paintbrush, and we're going to paint our sphere. This is where having one that broke in 2 really helped, because I was able to paint them all at the same time. It really saved me a lot of time. The reason why I chose red enamel paint is because I liked the fact that it has a sort of transparency to it. It gives it this sort of shine that I really like. I decided to do 2 coats of this, and making sure to let the first coat fully dry before applying the second coat. Now that both sides are dry and painted, I'm going to just pop them both together, and here comes something I forgot to mention in the what you'll need portion, which is a bottle cap. Taking a hot glue gun, we're going to hot glue the bottle cap to the bottom of our sphere. I'm putting it over the little thing that's jutting out of mine that sort of you could put a loop through and make an ornament out of. You may be asking yourself, why am I doing this, Kristen? Why am I hot gluing a bottle cap to the bottom of this? And the reason is that it's acting as sort of like a stand, so that when we actually go to put this on the ground, it stands up instead of rolling all around. And it's finally time for the fun part, which is the puff paint, making our design. So I'm grabbing the puff paint, and as you can see, I'm actually starting with the face design. So I'm drawing out the nose and the 2 eyes. And the entire time that I'm doing this, I had a reference image to the side that I'm going to put on the screen just to remind me exactly what I'm trying to make this look like. But by starting with the nose and the eyes, it was a good guideline of like, don't go over this part. And even though it looks a little bit silly, this is what it should look like when you've drawn the outline of the nose and eyes. And from here on out, it's all about making goopy looking lines. So as you can see, I'm making lines that are going upwards towards the center so that they all do have some sort of cohesiveness, because with puff paint, it really will show your like detailed line work. So as you can see, I'm going all the way up. And one thing to keep in mind with this is that when this dries later on, the puff paint is actually going to drip down a little bit longer. So as you're making the lines, just keep that in mind to make the lines a little bit shorter than intended, just because as they're drying, they are going to probably go down to your intended length if you make them a little bit shorter. Do this over and over again until you have something like this, and then wave goodbye to it, because you have to let this dry for at least 24 hours, if not a little bit longer than that, until the puff paint is completely dry. As a final touch, once it was all dry, I decided to grab some brown fabric, again not mentioned in the what you'll need for this video because I'm very professional, and I rolled it up with a hot glue gun and then glued it right to the top of the apple, as you can see displayed so well in this magnificent footage that I took. There it is, good job, Kristen. And I decided to cut out some more of that brown fabric and cover the bottle cap with it on the bottom by just hot gluing it. We have it, guys. Those are my 3 fall AF Geek It Yourself projects. If you guys go ahead and make these, please, please, please tag me in your things. I'm at @Kristen on Instagram, at Kristen on Twitter, at Kristen pretty much everywhere. So send me your pics. I would absolutely love to see what you make. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like this video and you want to see more of them. Or if you just want to hate watch, go ahead. It's still a subscribe. And be sure to like this video and share it with your geeky do-it-yourself friends. I would appreciate that. As always, my videos would not be possible without my Patreon supporters. creators, especially Geek It Yourself videos where I have to go out and buy supplies. They donate money to me on a monthly basis and get certain rewards in exchange for how much they're donating. If you want to go and check it out, go to patreon.com/shutupkristen. I super appreciate it. Otherwise, I love you lovely beans, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!